Welcome, everyone, to Rutgers at the Voice of College Football. I'm here with my fantastic co-host, Gabriel Pickup, and we wish we could have been here under better circumstances. Rutgers suffers one of the worst losses in recent memory, a 56-10 loss against the Ducks of Oregon. Gabe, take us away. What happened tonight? Why did it happen? And how can we be positive going forward?
Yeah, not just one of the worst losses in recent memory, but one of the worst losses in program history. This changes recruiting. This changes job security for our staff. This changes our staff's mindset. This changes the starters' mindsets. But it also finally wakes them up, hopefully, and makes them realize that they can't proceed as is. Rob Smith can't be the defensive coordinator. Greg Schiano can't be the play caller unless something drastic changes. And we didn't play any different today than we've played all year. The difference is the opponent. And speaking of the opponent, we have a fan of our opponent, Oregon Ducks, waiting in the lobby. So why don't we bring him on?
What's up, guys?
How you doing,
Well,
man?
welcome to Sean Bryant, an Oregon Ducks fan who probably watched this game tonight with great joy. As you can tell, Sean, Gabe, and I are upset because it seemed like Rutgers faltered in every aspect of the game, and that this was a regression, not a progression. So when you watch the game, Spaz, or as we call him, Sean, what'd you think?
Other than the first series, it was an utter beatdown. Y'all can thank Indiana for that.
Yeah,
because Indiana made us go back to the shed, and so we had to take it out on somebody, and unfortunately, you guys were the sacrificial lambs of the week.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, hopefully that's what it is for us next week. I mean, if Schiano and Rob Smith and everyone keeps their jobs, that is. Good Lord.
We just got done wrapping up our post game over on the Cracking Off channel, and
what a name!
It was so funny because I was telling Ben, I'm like, good God, are we going to get a fourth coach fired after this abysmal performance?
Yeah, and Adam's been calling for not necessarily his job, but his job to not be 100% guaranteed all year. And I tell you, after that loss, I would not be surprised if in 12 to 16 hours, there's a big announcement out of Piscataway.
Yeah. When I saw this game tonight, it pretty much solidified three specific points for me. Number one, last week, Coach Schiano said we're really not there yet, but we're close. No, they're not close. Ethan County Commanders, 2 interceptions on 8 of 25 passing. The offense couldn't get anything going. The defense was confused, even at times arguing with each other, being confused about unable to defend Oregon, unable to match the talent disparity. So Rutgers regressed tonight, and that's unfortunate. Number two, and I'm going to address this to Coach Schiano. Coach Schiano is a great coach, probably the best in Rutgers history. I would say the best in Rutgers history, and a great man. But, Coach Schiano, I think, has hit the ceiling for where he's going to take Rutgers. And that's not to say he hasn't taken it to great heights, but I think he's hit the ceiling. And I also think for Coach Schiano's own reputation, that this is too much of an embarrassment for him, and he really doesn't need this. So this is not as much about criticism of Coach Schiano, but empathy, and for where the program is going, I think it's time for a change. And number three, the future does not look bright right now, Gabe. The future, it's not only going to be more of the same, but it's going to be declining, and we could end up with a 3-9 season. So this game was not just about Oregon; it was about the state of the Rutgers football program. It's nowhere where it should be. It reminds me of the Chris Ash era. I think Schiano, ultimately, it's time for a change, and I think Rutgers needs to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and it didn't look good. But speaking of looking good, you're never gonna address Austin's comment in the section here. He said you look very classy tonight.
Well, Austin, that really cheers me up because I don't feel classy after this loss, but. Sometimes I dress up in my role as a lawyer, And if you think I look classy, that makes me happy because I do the best I can to look not only classy but also.
You didn't tell me there was a dress code tonight, man.
Well,
Yeah, and how about this? How about this?
Yeah,
he had a great performance on game day, and he put out his resume. Am I hearing James Franklin to Piscataway?
I am going to, on this show, say that Rutgers should go after James Franklin. And again, I want to be very careful in saying this. Coach Schiano is a great man and the best coach in Rutgers football history. But I think for his own legacy and for where the program is now, I think he's taken it as far as he can go. And that's a tremendous amount of credit to him for all the wonderful things he's done. But I think it's time for a change. That change begins with James Franklin.
Well, I will say this. I don't know who would be the replacement, and this is all speculation because we don't know. I mean, for instance, Schiano's job could still be 100% secure because of what he does in terms of recruiting and spending. But what we don't know is who leaves if he gets fired. We saw the pinball effect in State College, Pennsylvania. And when James Franklin got fired, they lost 3 5-star commits in 24 hours. One of them was the best running back in the nation, I believe. Now, we would lose most of our commits, and a lot of them are 4 stars. And we have, I believe, a top 15 commit class in terms of 2026 and 2027. Both of them are top 15, top 20. But if we lose them, we're not losing 3 5-stars. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and Gabe,
starting over.
Yeah, Gabe, I would just say this to you. Number one, Greg Schiano is not getting fired. Greg Schiano is going to be at Rutgers as long as he wants to be. My point is not to be calling for his firing. My point is that as someone who supports him and has tremendous respect for him, I think he should step down and get out of this mess. I think it's going to taint his legacy. And I think that as far as recruiting goes, let's look at who we recruited for the defense this year. We were so high on Eric O'Neill, Bradley, all the transfers, and they have done nothing to improve this defense. So I think for Greg Schiano, look, he brought Rutgers a season in 06 that was the best in history. He's coached at Ohio State. He's been an NFL coach. Coach Schiano, don't go down this road. Leave on a positive note and get out of this mess.
Yeah, and the second Mother Ducker shows up. How are you doing, Ben?
I am fantastic.
I'm sure you guys are riding high on Happy Valley right now. Well, not necessarily Happy Valley, but
Ooh, that's a dark topic. Don't be bringing up that.
Yeah, no, more of a.
You know, if you did have if Schiano left or got fired, whatever way it were to go down, if it were to go down, do you not think bringing James Franklin in would up your recruiting status?
That's true.
I think it may.
It would absolutely.
Because he's already in that region. He's already got commits. Think of the commits he could bring over that he brought into Penn State and bring them over to Rutgers.
That would absolutely help. My 2 points in response to that are, first off, he would probably take a lot of those Penn State commits with him that decommitted or are at least open to getting offers again. And second off, as much as Franklin, you know, we clown the guy because of the rivalry. Well, not necessarily rivalry. It's a bit one-sided, but we don't like Penn State. They don't like us. But regardless, if he came to Piscataway, even with Schiano being the best coach that we've ever had, it would obviously be an upgrade. But my question is, you know, we have a new president, President William Tate. We have a new athletic director, Kelly Zinn. They both come from LSU, and they both their tenures there were 2019 to 2025. So maybe would they be willing to spend for a James Franklin? I mean, I think Schiano's getting like $5 million annually.
Or would they reach into the LSU bag and try to pry Mr. Kelly out of LSU?
Yeah, his seat's a little hot down there too.
His seat's a little warm right now, I think.
Well, I think, look, when you look at this loss tonight, this loss revealed systemic problems with the program. We talked about the offense being so good against Iowa, against Washington. They were absolutely dominated by superior talent, and the defense was completely lost. This is not Greg Schiano's fault. All I'm saying is Greg Schiano has a great legacy and reputation. He's got more money than he needs to have a happy life. He doesn't need this. I think Greg Schiano should leave and leave on a high note because that's what he deserves. And I think James Franklin will take this program to the next level, not because he's necessarily the better coach, but because the timing is right and it would help with recruiting in New Jersey and Pennsylvania and across the nation. If there's not a change soon, then I have to ask Kelly Zinn and and President Tate. You came to LSU to do what at Rutgers? Because it ain't happening right now, guys.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, too. Look, we were laughing on our live show earlier, and blah blah blah. Of course, we're gonna laugh about this stuff. It happens. Greg Schiano's not a bad coach. We have nothing against Rutgers.
Yeah.
But what does Rutgers have invested in a sense? I know you just talked about the LSU additions for the athletic department and all that. But yeah, where's the money coming from? Because do you think James Franklin will take potentially that type of a $4 or $5 million discount when there's probably like 20 other programs that would literally open their wallets to get that kind of guy? Even like a Florida
exactly
would probably open their wallets to get that guy.
Well, Ben, I think in response to your question, I will say this. Those programs are not going to hire James Franklin. And I will also say this. If Greg Schiano was on this show and heard what I was saying, I am guessing his response to me would be, listen, buddy, tell Rutgers to give me the money and the resources to get the top players, and then we'll have a better program. And I think that that is a valid point. But my point in response to that is, Coach, why are you going through all this stress? If you're at a program that's not giving you the money and the resources, get out of there. Don't waste your time and make Rutgers make a decision. If they want to have a national program, they better hire a national coach and dedicate the resources. You're not doing it right now. Get out. Save yourself the embarrassment.
And my response to that is, Ben and Spaz, I don't know if you guys heard about Schiano's rant last week after the Washington loss about the state of our NIL money. But basically, a reporter was on the verge of asking him a question, and before he got to ask it, he kind of assumed that there were a lot of donors for an NIL budget, and before he could finish his question, Schiano cut him off and was like, "Dude, basically like, dude, I'm the only one spending money here. Like, we need help." And that got a lot of criticism on the reporter, but I actually applaud the reporter for kind of opening up the elephant in the room. But the very next day, and it's a little coincidental, which I think it really is coincidence and not just because of it. But the next day, our NIL got announced. And what that is basically it's a public budget that is transparent. And now it's like there's more money coming in from donors, more coming in from the athletic department. But something like that, it sounds like it needs months or at least weeks to start processing, and it wouldn't just happen the day after the fact. But it's coincidental for sure. And so I guess what I'm saying with all of that is that maybe there is a budget for a guy like James Franklin. Given I don't think that he would take Schiano money. I think he would want another $2 million plus on top of that. We saw Spignetti get an 11-year extension or something ridiculous like that.
Dave, here's what I'll say to James. James, you really don't have, the stature to be asking for 10 or 11 million a year. You went like 5-21 against top 10 teams, and clearly Penn State wasn't going anywhere beyond what you had taken it. So lose the ego, take the pay cut, and build a program. And as far as you go, Rutgers, if you don't want this embarrassment to ever show up again, you better say our NIL budget is whatever money will get the best players, no matter how high it is. Or else take your mediocre football program, all right, and admit it's going to be a mediocre, if not low-tier program. If that's the case, then there's no business doing this show or dedicating our time to supporting your program.
in all fairness, I agree with both of you. One, I think, like what Gabriel's saying, is like, I think that there were teams around the country that got ahead of the NIL curve. They started collectives. They started their kind of foundational NIL programs. There are other teams that maybe didn't know what to do with it, didn't know if it was going to take off for sure. Now are trying to make up ground, and that's kind of where Rutgers is falling. They've got a good foundational guy in Shiano, but they're not getting the support in the background from the university, the athletic department, the donors, and alum that you see, even like we were just saying, your Penn States or your big programs, of course, your Ohio States or your Alabama. And then they're not, but you guys are still getting full network money too. And you're going to get collective shares. So, I mean, there is that money. So I would also be like, well, what is the university doing with that? Because football drives the athletic department.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it with basketball sort of take off last year. They got 2 top 3 prospects in the nation turned into 2 top 5 picks in the NBA draft. And in terms of the NIL getting ahead, I do agree with you. But I have a source actually that I met through a friend of a family member who is close, not close necessarily as in friends, but has had experiences talking with Shiano. And so Shiano's first job, I believe, was a scout at Penn State. And he went to a kid's house to on a recruiting meeting. And this was like decades ago. And on the way out,
oh no! Don't talk about going from a Penn State to a kid's house decades ago. That's some. Oh no! Okay, I'm not associating myself with this conversation. No,
as he's leaving the house, the kid allegedly opens his mailbox, and there is a bunch of donor money from a school, obviously decades before it's legal. So when you talk about necessarily other schools getting ahead of NIL, I agree, but I also think they've been doing it for years where Rutgers could never afford to.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question here, okay? So let's say today's October 18th. Let's say that I get a letter from a court that says your trial is scheduled for April 1st. Guess what I'm going to do starting October 18th? I'm going to start preparing for the trial. When that court case from the U.S. Supreme Court, NCAA versus Alston, came out with Brett Kavanaugh authored, the smart schools were like, NIL is where it's at, and we're going to develop our collectives. There is no excuse for not getting ahead. There is no excuse for being behind. That's like saying, I'm going to prepare for a trial the week before it starts. It's ridiculous and shows a lack of commitment to being competitive in the Big Ten. It's a disgrace.
Also, Adam, do you know the specifics of the New Jersey NIL case that happened, I think, like a month or 2 ago? And there was apparently a good closing to it that helps Rutgers football. And I just vaguely remember it, but I don't remember the specifics.
I don't recall the specifics right now, but what I will say is if you have a good lawyer, you can make sure that you act in a manner consistent with those rules and regulations and still get ahead. Why does Texas A&M have unlimited amounts of money to spend on NIL? Why does Ohio State have this much money? Why does Michigan have it? And why are we still trying to formulate some type of NIL that can be competitive? Shiano has a point there, but that, again, also supports my point. Coach Shiano has done what he set out to do at Rutgers. It is time for him to go into the media, be a commentator, enjoy his millions and his legacy, and forget about this mess. And the only person who's going to clean up this mess is a coach with the clout that could hold these universities accountable. And James Franklin is that guy, because he's not going to get hired by the premier programs, but he could get hired at Rutgers and build something special.
Well, Gabriel brings up a good point, though. I do want to point out what he was saying about, like, oh, you went and you opened the mailbox, there was a bunch of flyers. I mean, remember, Nick Saban owns car dealerships, remember? So at Alabama, they were all getting cars. That was essentially like an NIL / sponsorship, just under the table. And those programs built it up. And then they were winning. So it was hard to then take away those top level recruits because, like, well, you're going to win, you're going to go to the NFL. So that was like like canceled out the NIL projection or whatever, profit or whatever, because they're like, well, we're going to go to the NFL. Can you get to a guy like, I don't know, James Franklin just seems out of reach. What you guys need to do is just go get a Mario Cristobal and worry if he takes a knee or not.
What we need is someone that like has the clout, as Adam said, that players will decommit from their schools to join Rutgers specifically for the coach. And Shiano, as much as I love him, I think he's a great motivator, a good man. I don't think he's the best game day coach, but I don't think that he is the coach to get people to decommit just to play for him.
Let me ask
He's
you
a great guy. He's a great guy. I have no, again, I like Shiano. I think he's done amazing 2 different stints at Rutgers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done everything he can, I think, for the university and that football team. But yeah, realistically, if you don't have the donor backing or alum support and finances and put the NIL stuff together, I get it. You've got to also then be able to pull players from other places, whether it be like even Syracuse. Say you can steal a couple players, good top talent from Syracuse or whatever in the region. Who it realistically is it? Because Franklin is available, but is he a realistic coach for Rutgers, or is there another name that really stands out? Kind of like,
well, hold on a second. We do have an athletic director and a president who are coming from LSU, so they know what championships are all about. And it's, look, here's my answer to the question about NIL. How much?
So you're gonna get Ed Ogeron.
How much was Arch Manning paid to go to Texas? Do we know? How much was Bryce Underwood?
He's top 3 paid NIL in NCAA history, behind I think Bronny and Livy Dunn.
Let's say Arch Manning was paid $4 million a year. So here's what Rutgers should do. They should tell Arch Manning they'll pay him $8 million a year. Then they will get Arch Manning. When Michigan pays Bryce Underwood $10 million to come to Michigan, we say we'll pay you $20 million. That is how you get top recruits, and that is how you create the domino effect where downstream people say if Underwood's going there or Arch is going there, I should too. You got to invest the money and outspend.
But Adam, what we're forgetting about our AD and president coming from LSU is the fact that LSU has been a championship level team for decades, and Rutgers has had great teams in the mid 2000s. One team you could even argue would be a playoff team in the current format. But outside of that, we don't have anything close to a championship level run. And LSU has had that even before them. And, they did do great jobs there. They maintained the level of consistency in terms of competing for championships in across all sports, because they're one of the most well-ranked athletic universities. But you come here and you have to play Moneyball. That's what they tried to do with the transfers. And so far, especially defensively, it has just not paid off.
That's a Band-Aid on the problem. What I'm saying is this. I'll make an analogy. You go to the senior prom and you realize I'm the ugly guy at the dance. So what do? Do I still keep eating donuts and being 50 pounds overweight? Or do I start exercising, eating healthy, and then 10 years later go on a dating show and have people say, oh my gosh, you're the stud in the room? My point is LSU wasn't always a national championship contender. They were the ugly guy at the dance in the 70s and the 80s.
Well,
That's what I'm talking about.
That famous serial killer, I can't remember his name right now. He was also on a dating show before. He won the dating show, so that's not a great analogy there, Adam. I mean,
Ted Bundy.
Yeah, oh, it was Ted Bundy. Okay, I thought that's who I remember it was.
Relevant to the analogy, but I would also say Ted Bundy was very charismatic.
He was. No, all serial killers are usually pretty charismatic. They're intelligent people, but
just look at Ben.
Wow. Okay, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. You know what?
Insults by Spaz are unacceptable, but Spaz is still
and Adam, you make a good point though. Top dollar offers to certain players, but at the same time, when you just said Bryce Underwood or Arch Manning, that comes down to talent evaluation. Manning was taken off of course, both are high school evaluations, but for his name, and we have seen what has happened. If you were doing it, Bryce Underwood would definitely be the, I think, higher profile or higher ceiling type of guy at this point in time, because Arch Manning has fizzled. But so you're at that risk of doing that too and burning money and running off the future recruits in a year or two.
Yeah.
So there's a very fine balance in where you spend your money on, who you spend it on, and evaluation. That's a coaching staff. And
yeah,
it's always hit and miss. I mean, I'm not saying that you're never going to be 100%. It's always hit and miss.
You're absolutely right. But that's a different issue. Assuming that we can identify the players that have that talent, which is probably evidenced by the fact that other schools are going after them. My only point is this: if you want to be a mediocre program, that's fine, but at least fight the good fight and try to be elite and spend the money. Otherwise, what is the point of having a football program?
It's
one could ask Dabo Sweeney that question right now.
Spaz, the University of Oregon would never, ever in a million years tolerate a mediocre program that went 5-7 or 6-6. They would never tolerate it. It is an unwritten. It would be an original sin if they did that. Rutgers doesn't have that same mentality.
Not since the mid-1990s. Yeah, that's when we got rid of that moniker. But I mean, because even when Mario Cristobal was winning 10 games a year, when he left, we were like, okay, bye. Like, we didn't even fight for Mario Cristobal to stay. We were like, cool, go away.
How about
unfortunately,
this, Gabe? Gabe, you'll like this. How much is Dan Lanning paid at Oregon?
I actually don't know off the top of my head.
$11 million a year.
Okay, so what if Rutgers said, "Hi, Dan, we're going to pay you $33 million a year"?
Yeah, but see, Adam, the problem with this, I've been trying to say it for a few
Rutgers
minutes.
has 50,000 students, an endowment in the hundreds of millions, if not billion.
Adam, the problem with this is it goes against everything you've been preaching since I joined the show. You're talking about since I joined the show.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Guys that are
I
only
will not
here to
tolerate that
control.
attack by you just because you're hungry.
This. What you're preaching right now is just bid for guys. But guess what? If you bid for guys, like you've said since I've joined the show, they're just going to leave when someone else has more money, or we're doing what we're doing so far this year. Like
I have said from the start, buy players. And if they want to leave, they're not going to be able to leave because we're going to say we are going to be the highest bidder, and we're going to have other players coming in.
People hate it here.
What?
They would hate it here, though. They would play reluctantly, and they would perform like bad.
Hey, you could have Arch Manning throwing 12 for 27 for 130 yards.
Yeah, I don't know what his issue is. Last year when he came in for Quinn Ewers, he was lights out. So
He played against two shit teams. That was the problem. I forgot we're not on our network anymore, so I apologize. He played against two crap teams.
He's also played against bad teams this year and still looked bad against them.
I understand all your guys' points, but the bottom line is Rutgers is a joke right now, and unless you have radical changes, you will not get radical results. I should be the president of Rutgers, and I will implement these changes. And you know what? At this point, I will defer to President Tate. But President Tate, give me a call because I have ideas. I do have a law degree, so I can help you navigate these things so that this never, ever happens again.
Mic drop.
I will say I don't have a law degree. I do have a psychology degree. I don't use it for anything, and I'm not a psychologist. But the thing you have to think about, and this is in defense of everything that's been said here, and in support of Rutgers and in support of Schiano, is that going away from the guy that has brought you the most success, Greg Schiano will get a job immediately. Say Rutgers were to like tomorrow go, you're out. He'll get picked up by a school. Then what happens if he starts winning 10, 11 games a year somewhere else? Then you have to go, oh, it is the university. It wasn't Schiano's. So we just ran away, not the problem. We ignored the root cause of the problem. And it's complicated, but getting rid of someone is not always the greatest answer. Like we said on our After Dark show, we're having this tomorrow night. Getting rid of James Franklin. Did they just set themselves back 5 to 10 years or Pelini themselves?
Quite possibly. It depends.
You don't know. You
The
don't
answer
know.
to your question is yes, they did, and it was, in my view, the wrong decision. But if Shiano is not going to get the resources that he needs, there is no purpose for him staying there. And if he leaves, the only coach that they're going to get that's actually going to be worth his salt is one that's going to demand that those resources exist. So it'll force Rutgers into a corner to either put up or shut up. And if they don't, then they can have games like this. And I feel bad for Oregon Ducks fans. And I want to apologize to the Oregon Ducks fans throughout the country. You tuned into a game tonight hoping to see something entertaining and competitive. I'm sorry that wasn't.
I think they wanted to do exactly what Ben predicted they would do on Monday, which is kick the brakes off of us just to prove a point that they're not
Oh, by the way, guys.
worth a top 5 ranking, you know?
By the way, guys, on our show that Adam came on Wednesday, I dropped the perfect score.
Did you?
Kill me.
56-10.
Yeah,
Did
he
you?
did. He absolutely did. And
No,
I'm done making score predictions.
I would like to have a moment of silence right now for Spaz for being exactly right on the score prediction. So a moment of 5 seconds for Spaz. Congratulations, Spaz. You were right on. And
that was 2.5
you
seconds.
deserve the credit. Listen, it was look, don't worry about it. It was an approximation. It is what it is.
I mean, hey, I said 50-0, and if it hadn't been for that last late second touchdown there against like the third stringers, I was like, I got this in the bag. And then Oregon decided to take knees at the end of the game instead of.
Well, I will say that AJ Suris looked better against Oregon's second stringers than Athan against Oregon's first stringers.
Yeah, that Athan got murdered.
Yeah. And like literally Athan all year has been statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. And then today he played like DJ Lagway in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, the problem.
listen,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the problem is that Rutgers ran into superior talent. Unless they fix their NIL, there is no purpose for Rutgers football. And you know what? I tell it like it is. You Rutgers fans want to get mad at me. You people at Rutgers University want to get mad at me. You do that. You have 50,000 students and all the resources to do the right thing. You're not doing it, and I'm sick and tired of it because I'm 49 years old, and for my whole life, you guys have been at best mediocre. Coach Shiano doesn't deserve it. We don't deserve it. Put up or shut up, or else I ain't going to be a Rutgers fan anymore.
Yeah, well, actually, I wanted to mention real quick. You mentioned going against superior competition. Well, we faced Washington last week. Damon Williams had only the 18th game in FBS history of 400 and 100 as a quarterback. But the week after he faces superior competition, Washington gets 7 points. And the week before, he goes against superior competition and he gets 6 points. And then against us, they get 38 points. And he has the best game of his college career, possibly high school career too. And also one of the statistically best, well-rounded games in college football history.
And the following week, they give up 750 yards of offense.
752 yards, very close to an Oregon record. What is the record? Is it
777?
It was 777 for a home game. I think it was 760 for a road game. So we were 10 short of the road.
Fourth most yardage of all time.
Something like that. I was hoping they were going to get that road record at least. Even the announcers were like, we're on a countdown for this. They were like watching it the entire second half, which was really funny to me because I was like, damn, they're not even paying attention. Look, Rutgers had some good plays, though. The fumble by Gary Bryant in that first drive, third play of the game, uncharacteristic. And Rutgers did a great job, but then they couldn't capitalize on it. And I see in the chat some people going, man, Athan sucks. I'm like, well, he can be good, but yeah, when you go 8 of 25 with 2 picks, that is, and for 79 yards, yeah, I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, and Ben, you said that Rutgers had some good plays. I agree with that. The theater department put on Les Miserables last week. I thought it was compelling. They put on Phantom of the Opera. I also thought that was compelling. They had no good plays tonight. Now, Athan is not a bad quarterback. he's a good, solid college quarterback, but they do not have the players. Their players do not understand the scheme on defense. They look clueless and angry at each other out there.
Well,
I
and you faced a pissed off Oregon defense today too.
What?
You faced a pissed off Oregon defense today too.
Yeah,
that didn't help.
I know we're facing Ohio State, but how your defense played tonight is the best defense we'll face all year. I mean, like surely with Rutgers, you can't necessarily say rock bottom because every time you think it can get worse, they find a way to make it worse. But this certainly feels like it could be rock bottom.
Which again, your two receivers too. Your two outside receivers are 6'3" and 6'6".
Yeah.
When I actually heard that stat at the beginning of the game, I went, "Oh shit!" Like those are. I didn't realize they were that big. Like
they're
to be
big.
honest,
they have good hands. I don't know what the hell happened tonight, and hopefully Ian Strong is okay because he didn't come back out in the second half. I assume it's just management of a mild injury, and I knock on wood when I say that because you know what they say about assumptions. But given the fact that the game was over, what was the point of sending him back out there if he was questionable? So I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, we didn't see Kenyon Sadiq in the second half neither because he got dinged up.
He got that touchdown. He grabbed like his hamstring immediately, kind of like, oh.
So you hope that these are just because of the circumstances and not because of the severity.
Yeah. I didn't realize, though, they were that big. That's why I was surprised then when I know we have taller corners this year, but we're still only like 6'1", which is still a good sized corner. But when you're going to like a 6'3", 6'6" receiver down, I was very surprised at the coverage ability because, again, those are big receivers on the outside. Why were you surprised? Because they're big receivers and obviously talented. And, again, look, it's not a bad quarterback. He's shown that he's a good quarterback. So,
Oregon,
I mean, I get it. Combination of different things, defensive line, pressure, coverage, all those types of things play into how a quarterback throws the ball, what he reads. I get that. But this is not like a bad team. Rutgers has actually been known for their offense. So
this year, certainly, it's a little twist on how it's been in years past. I remember when we were reviewing when CFB 25 came out, they actually had our defense ranked better than our offense. And I knew that was not going to be the case.
Yeah, and our offense has been good in the first quarter, but they weren't good in the fourth quarter against Iowa, against Minnesota. No class. And let me tell you something. I'm in a bad mood tonight. I'm gonna tell you something.
No way. You're in a bad mood.
Like you're doing dapper to me.
I'm in a bad mood tonight because I don't want to see Rutgers lose. Rutgers should not be losing 56-10 in anything. It reminds me of you go into the yellow pages and you see a guy's name. Let's say you see a guy whose name is Tim Donovan, and you say, I wonder if he could date Queen Elizabeth. The answer is absolutely not, because Queen Elizabeth is superior. I felt like tonight we were the guy from the yellow pages, and Oregon was Queen Elizabeth, and that should never be the case. End of story. No class.
I thought you were going to make a very dark joke there about Queen Elizabeth's current status, but I'm thankful that you didn't.
These insults that you're hurling at me tonight are uncalled for. And Spaz, you haven't come to my defense once. I'm very upset.
Well, you haven't seen his stalker on this show, but it was on our show just a little bit ago, so he's a little disappointed.
Stalkers are just people who have, let's say, overzealous attention. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, literally, like Jason, you're 100% right. And none of us expected Rutgers to win. None of us expected it to be a one-score game. But the line was 17.5, and they tripled that line. So, and it's kind of funny because we were saying all week that line was an insult to Oregon. And I got to say, if anyone bet on Rutgers to cover, you should probably not be gambling, man.
And guys, I get angry because I love Rutgers. I get angry because I love the players and I love Coach Shiano. It's not like I'm trying to trash them, but I'm sorry. Sometimes you gotta care about people by giving a little tough love. It's not enough to just say, I support you, but I don't know. I'm really disappointed about this and the way the season has gone.
It's funny because like I post some of the shorts that we have on Instagram and X and TikTok, and a few of the players do follow, and they see the content, they look at the stories, so they see what we're saying. all I'm gonna say is, I think if they had enough of you by now, they would have unfollowed by now.
I saw the Instagram post, by the way, and I don't think I was credited properly, and I have launched a lawsuit against you for all monetary value for that one Instagram short.
I'll settle. I'll settle.
We're making thousands of dollars off of it.
I know. I expect my 2 cents in the mail very soon, if that even. I know how this goes. Trust me, I know.
You know what, Gabe? I really feel bad. And honestly, just like anger always masks kind of like hurt and sad, I feel really bad for the players at Rutgers.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, these are good kids, talented kids. And for them to have to endure a loss like this, it just makes me sad for the team. It makes me sad for Coach Shiano. Are you going to fix it or not?
How could you? I mean, it's funny. You said that they wouldn't have mercy and they would score 60 on us. Technically, they had mercy by sending out the second unit in the third quarter.
Why isn't Austin up here? I see him in the back chat.
Yeah.
True.
Well, the thing is, I was like, I could throw him on, but it's going to look a little scrambled. Y'all cool with 5 people, I'll throw him on.
Yeah, bring Austin on. But I agree. I agree with look. I agree with Adam. Is that look? It sucks for any team to lose a game. Like last week, I said we don't do our post game sometimes till the next day because sometimes we're at a loss after the just a weird performance like against Indiana last week. We literally had to just go. We have to think about this because I don't know what just happened. And I've had those. I remember my first post-game show solo was after the Georgia loss in Dan Lanning's first game. I did it by myself for like an hour. So I know how it feels or how it looks and how you have to just handle it. And it sucks. Trust me. It sucks.
Go ahead.
Great observation because we even had an RNIL banner out there tonight at the homecoming, and I've never seen an NIL banner before. And Austin, congratulations on Louisville beating Miami last night. What a win that was!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You Cristobal.
And that's true. Listen, to add to your comment, I mean, this is the beautiful thing about the world of college football. You go from the highest of highs sometimes to the lowest of lows. And right now, Adam and Gabe are on the low side of it. We're on the high side over here. I mean, we just beat the number 2 team in the country. You just demolished poor Rutgers. I mean, life's good for the 3 of us. But Gabe and Adam, how are you holding up? I want to know how you're holding up.
I'm glad you asked that question because somebody in the chat, I think it was Jason, said they rolled out a new NIL initiative. I'm going to invent my own NIL initiative right now. I'm going to call it Rutgers. The R stands for reputation. Okay. The U stands for undefeated. The T stands for titles. The G stands for greatness. The E stands for elite. The R stands for reputation. And the S stands for standards. That's it. Kelly, adopt it right there. I'll copyright it. This is where we got to go, baby.
That was really good, actually. That was actually on the fly, I think. Really good, actually.
Take a bow.
Hey, I'm all about making things happen now. Forget the bureaucracy. Forget the overthinking things. Get things done. Get them now. And that Rutgers little acronym I just gave should be on every building at Rutgers. President Tate, I'm expecting a call very soon.
Is your face going to be on the billboard?
I got a better one.
Oh, God.
I got a better one. Relegated under tough, goated, emotional, responsible soldiers.
Okay. Respect.
Okay.
Hey, so by the way,
respectable.
If things don't change by this time next week, we are going to be seeing Adam joining USC, Voice of College Football.
Or we can just have an NIL that stands for Adam, A, Athan Kelly Kamenis, D.
Oh, is it
Dario
USC
Demona.
next week for you guys?
We don't have USC this year.
Oh.
Oh,
USC
thank God
did
for
not
you.
put themselves- Austin, how can you help Gabe come to terms with what happened tonight?
Well, it seems like Gabe's come to terms with it tonight, Adam. It seems like Gabe's. It seems like you're trying to wrap your head around it. Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I know Gabe has been taking shots all night. I mean, that's what he does. We just have to accept Gabe for that. He just likes to hurt people. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing. Listen, I know a lot of people were comparing this to the Penn State situation of Oregon going across country, just like after Penn State when they lost their game. A lot of people were like, this could be Penn State 2.0. And Dan Lanning's that type of coach. He's not going to let that happen. Like anybody that was saying Rutgers could win this game, I was like, good on you for believing, but you got to be in reality sometimes. Dan Lanning is too good of a head coach to let it go to 2 in a row against the Rutgers team, who right now is just stuck in mediocrity. They're not good. They're not bad. They're just mediocrity. They come and go. And let's be honest. I mean, Oregon's offense looked good, but it was their defense tonight, fellas. Their defense. Oregon's defense needs some more respect. I mean, I'm tired of people saying it's all Oregon's offense. That Oregon defense is legit. And if they could play like this 24/7, Oregon could go far in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, Dan Lanning is not a James Franklin coach. He is a championship level coach.
Austin is 100% right. That loss to Indiana was the best thing that could happen to Oregon, and they are going to be motivated and hungry going forward. And you know what Rutgers fans are going to be? They're not going to be motivated. They may be hungry, but you know what? Food's not going to solve the problem. Systemic changes are going to solve the problem. And Austin,
That's true.
When you talk to me and Gabe, you got to help us here because I'm, discombobulated about this loss, and Gabe seems to be handling it well. I'm not sure that either reaction.
Well, the difference is I accepted our season being over after Minnesota.
So
See,
Nebraska should
Gabe's
also
coping.
accept it too.
Nebraska could. Well, the thing is, they're 5-2.
9 sacks.
Here's the thing. It's kind of like the 5 stages of rejection, fellas. The first stage is you're angry, you're upset, and then you move on and accept it for what it is. Gabe's in that stage. He's in the acceptance of, okay, she rejected me, but okay, we can still be friends. Adam's in the stage of, this is bull crap. Why did you reject me? It's all on you. That's where you're at, Adam. We're going to help you get to Gabe's stage.
Yeah, because I'm going to go to Rutgers campus right now, and I'm going to say, if I can't have you, no one else can.
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't become.
Austin makes a great point, though, in a way that at some point you do accept. Because I mean, you can look at Oregon for us. Remember, and we don't like to think about it. We had a certain 2016 season. 2 years removed from the national title game appearance, and that got Mark Helfrich fired. That's how abysmal that year was. We had that year where that was one of the only couple games I turned off during the year. I couldn't even finish the game. I was so disgusted with the team. You have to get to an acceptance level, just like any administration, athletic department, or whatever, where you go, this is it.
Yeah.
In a way, he's not wrong. Trust me, it does happen. At some point, you do become kind of numb, a little bit numb to it too.
Yeah, Ben, I am a Mets fan, a Jets fan, and a Knicks fan. I am.
Oh my god! Oh god!
I mean, okay, listen.
I'm gonna go vomit. I'm gonna go.
See, Ben, Gabe's already. See, he's already in the bad trifecta. The only thing he's got going for him is the Knicks right now.
Yeah,
the Knicks might make it to the finals. The Knicks might make the finals this year, Gabe, and we might see you in June, good buddy.
That would be awesome. I
guess
would love
what?
that. I actually was on someone else's podcast. I was on our good friend Only Talk Sports podcast. And I said that my prediction for the NBA is Nuggets Knicks finals, and unfortunately, you guys win. That was my prediction.
And my prediction is that the next coach of Rutgers will be Jennifer Aniston.
Oh God.
from the
Oh,
series
Jesus.
Friends.
Adam,
You're
why
telling
did
me
you
that
why
wouldn't
did you
attract
say that
approach?
thing about- Adam, why'd you say that thing about Dylan Ravioli in the comments? I don't want any part of Ravioli, man.
Because Pitt Snipe Husker's a Nebraska fan, so I was just kind of making a joke. That's all. I was thinking
Very,
about that.
very fair.
And for you viewers out there, I hope you get my sense of humor. It's a little dry, but you know what? It's always penetrating and creative.
But I mean, here's the thing. I know it looks bad now, fellas, but look at it this way. It's a good learning lesson and it's valuable. A lot of these things that have happened to Rutgers is good because it teaches us what the team is made of. It teaches us, and some of these younger players, they're getting their wounds, so to speak, meaning they're learning how to lose. They're being taught through the fire. And eventually you stick around long enough, you might be with the winner. I mean, look at Diego Pavia and his band of misfits. I mean, they stuck around when Vandy was awful. And now look at them. They could be playing for the SEC title in a couple months. Who knows? Vandy could win the whole thing the way they talk.
I mean, hey, Diego was throwing up the Heisman symbol after the game, so he's got all the confidence in the world.
He should. He plays like it. Listen, you think a guy like that shouldn't be talking that cocky, but he backs it up every single time he gets on that field. Every single time. It's kind of like Kurt Signetti. I mean, I know Adam doesn't like Mr. Signetti, or maybe not like Signetti, but doesn't know how good of a coach he is at Indiana.
Oh, he's a great
But he
coach.
just beat Oregon. A team everyone thought that was going to win the Big Ten after beating Penn State, and here we are.
I will give Signetti some confetti when he shows he can sustain this level of success. But Austin, once again,
Adam, you're full of bars tonight.
Austin, once again, we have to help Gabe because Gabe came into this season with optimism, and now I'm trying to help him deal with this fallout. And
We were saying 9-3 at one point.
I don't remember.
It's going to be 3-9 now.
I don't recall.
Signetti spaghetti.
we
I want my
all-
confetti.
Boom. Lakers in 5.
Yes, we're gonna make a rap album, all 5 of us, and Adam's gonna be the lead singer of the album.
Adam, why are you
But-
putting all these comments on the screen? They're just insults to you.
You call them insults. I call them compliments.
See, here's
All
the
right,
thing,
well,
Adam. We all have optimistic energy. We all have optimistic energy about our teams going into the year. I mean, I had Louisville winning 9 games this year. I thought maybe we could even win 10.
Well,
I mean,
You still might.
yeah.
Jeff Brom is a master at beating top 10 teams. I don't know what it is with that. Him and Jeff, I was saying this morning, Jeff Brom and the coach at Georgia Tech,
Brent Key.
Brent Keys, have this thing about beating top 10 teams. I don't know what it is, but those two seem to get their teams up every time.
And listen, and this kind of goes back to this, but here's the thing about Louisville real fast is Jeff Brom did this to Notre Dame a couple years ago. He went to Death Valley and beat Clemson last year, a feat that hadn't been done at night in, I believe, 7 years they said it was. There's just something about him. I mean, he did it at Purdue to all of our Ohio State people. Everyone remembers that. Michigan State and Iowa. Jeff Brom is known to do this. I mean, he just does this. And listen, Rutgers and Louisville are going to play in a couple years.
dude.
Play in a
I was
couple years. Are
wondering
you guys ready to play the bill? Because you know Jeff Brom is going to have us ready to play Rutgers. Are you all ready for that?
Not
No,
anymore. I
no.
don't think we're having a magical 2026 here, Adam. I think we're going to have to wait a few more years.
I'm going to try hypnosis. I hear that works. And I'm going to imagine a world in which Rutgers defeated Oregon 6-3 in a defensive battle. And Spaz was sitting on here saying, Adam, you were right. And then I'm going to wake up. And you know what? That'll be disappointing, but at least I'll have some moments of bliss. The problem that you have, Gabe, is you're always latching on to the wrong teams, the Jets.
Hey, I didn't pick them. They
It's
picked.
to help you.
Jason, Rutgers is playing Louisville next year. So yeah, I didn't pick them, man. They picked me. One day, Gang Green showed up and said, "You are a part of us." One day, the Mets said, "Hey, we're trash now. We'll have a great playoff run in a few years, and then we'll be trash for another 10 years. You're part of us." And
Right.
then said, "You asked for one good year. You got to wait a decade, and you're part of us."
Well,
Unfortunately, I haven't seen Rutgers do a damn thing. Ugh.
Well, listen, guys.
Listen,
I hate to say this, guys, but I gotta run because I gotta get back to this party. They're actually complimenting me. That rarely ever happens. So I need to enjoy this cake and then let that sugar kind of increase my serotonin levels and feel somewhat happy. But Austin, I'm going to need your help on the next show because I'm in a rut here, and Gabe is still maintaining optimism. So
I am.
okay, so
I said the season was over after Minnesota.
real fast. We'll do Adam. Since you got to run and be at a party, we'll make this real quick. Since you get to your party, we'll help Gabe in the fastest 3 minutes. All right, Gabe. Listen, your optimism is admired. Your optimism is admired, Gabe. That's what we love about you. But you have to understand, dude. Don't be in denial. Listen, it's okay. Rutgers sucks, and we all know it's okay. Adam and me are here to help you, and Ben or Spaz too, if they want to help, if they want to get in on this. But we're gonna help you, and we're gonna.
I lived a putrid Oregon fan life for many years.
The last thing I'll say is this.
Yeah.
Austin is from Kentucky, so I think I know what the answer for my troubles is. I'm going to go to Kentucky. I'm going to buy a horse, and then I'm going to win the Kentucky Derby. And then I'm going to feel happy.
Yeah.
Can't you see me as a jockey? Kind of like. Oh, anyway, guys, I hate to cut out short, but you know what? These guys are great commentators. Gabe is a great co-host, so I trust that they will make the show better in my absence.
Yeah, I got to run too. So.
Adam. Remember, I was kicked off a certain network because I decided to try to burn it to the ground. Apparently, so I might do that to your show right now.
That's okay. You know what? Sometimes I prefer heat to air conditioner. So if it's hot enough, it might just burn me in a way that makes me happy.
I thrive in cool environments.
Cheers, gentlemen, and I hope to see you all on Monday at 7 o'clock. And thank you for your accommodating.
Drink responsibly.
See you guys.
You too.
All right, adios, amigos.
All right, Adam.
Bye, guys.
All right, Spaz, old man.
See ya.
So,
don't do the face close-up view. That's creepy.
Oh God. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that third paneling. I have to adjust the camera because it's like all out of whack.
Yeah. So
I want to mention a couple things real fast, Gabe. So this is kind of for both of you. Ben, after tonight's performance, how are you feeling about Oregon? And Gabe, in all seriousness, what do you think about Rutgers going forward now that the kids are out of the room?
Yeah, I'll let you go first, Ben, because we should start off with some positivity.
I think that we talked about it last week in the pregame. Is the worst thing for Rutgers going this game is because I think they could have confidence. They're at home. Oregon's traveling across country. The worst thing is that you were going to meet a pissed off Oregon team. But I think for Rutgers they didn't give up in this game. It's not like they stopped trying in this game. They just ran into a buzzsaw and an open playbook, and they just didn't know what to do. And unfortunately, like the fan base, by halftime, basically vacated. I mean, before halftime, all you heard was "Go, let's go Ducks, let's go Ducks" through the monitor. That's all you heard because they knew it was over. And when we go back to that, is it Chiano? Is it the athletic department? Is it this or that? When we say like, oh, are you going to Pelini yourself like Penn State potentially by getting rid of a guy who's been successful? I'm not going to say he's not like top tier, but like he's been averagely successful, and he's been the only one at Rutgers recently that's been successful.
Yeah.
Are you going to then sacrifice that to say, look at UNC and go get a Bill Belichick, who, my God, we've got the greatest NFL coach of all time, potentially, allegedly. Thanks,
I mean,
Tom
I'm a
Brady.
Jets fan,
And then look at what he's put on the field. So I mean, there's a fine line for Rutgers decision making at the top that has to take place, and I think really you got to start with the NIL. I think that's your thing. Do not screw the coach or the staff before you fix the internal issues that maybe help get recruits there that make you more competitive. Because I think Schiano is the guy. I think he could be the guy. Maybe some tweaks, maybe a little offensive coordinator, defense. You can argue that, but I think it is. They're just missing those certain pieces that other teams aren't, and I think that's where it kind of comes down to. And it's a fine line. You've got to draw a line and decide what to do first. And do you tank a program potentially for 5 years, or work for a better improvement in 2 years? Like, it's a very fine line system, and I'm not no booster or expert on that stuff at all, but you got to be careful with it. Let's put it that way.
My only point with Schiano moving forward is, I mean, he has his issues as a game day coach, but I think he's a good coach and definitely the best coach that we've had this century, if not all time. But my gripe with him is, I mentioned it earlier in the show, but is he the guy that people are going to leave their schools to go join because of how good his legacy is? And the answer to that is no. That's my gripe with him. And I don't think that he's a bad coach by any means. I just don't think that he's the answer. He's certainly not the problem. The problem does come down to NIL. But when you look at how this team has played this season, the problem, because we can't do anything about it in the immediate future, the problem is the defense. And the problem has been all year the defense. Ohio, who is, they're good in the MAC. They're probably the best school in the MAC, but they should not match up to even a middle tier Power 4 conference school. You look at, for instance, Miami of Ohio. They had a solid first half against us. They could have led the game against us because of their offense. Iowa scores 38 points against us, and they're known to be one of the worst offenses, if not the worst offense in all of Big Ten. Minnesota, Drake Lindsay, who is a freshman quarterback, has by far his best game as a quarterback in college football. Last week, I already said what happened with Damon Williams, and obviously we saw what happened today. Well, it's 12:20 yesterday with Oregon. So Rob Smith, the defensive coordinator, I am calling for him no longer to be our defensive coordinator. As for the rest of the staff, I don't think I have enough insight on that, but based on what I've seen with the defense and him being the play caller on defense, I do think that he has to leave.
Well, I think the real test is going to be Purdue next week, because even though Purdue has gotten better, if you can't at least slow Purdue down. I mean, I know right now it looks bad giving up 56 right now, but you got to think it's to Oregon. Oregon's a good football team. Heck, they're a great football team. Let's not sugarcoat it. They got 5 stars all across the field, NFL level talent. Any team's going to have a hard time stopping them. I mean, consistently. I mean, even Indiana for the longest time, they were stopping them, but guess what? Oregon still got their place in. So it's not like Rutgers. They're just basically what every other team in the Pac-12 experienced. You're getting the Pac-12 experience. If you're the Cows, if you're the Stanfords, and you don't have the talent, Oregon's going to run you over and chew you out, and then that's that. This just happens.
Yes. No, I'm not saying that game should have been close, but statistically and in terms of odds and matchmaking predictions, everybody, at least that is credible, would have predicted that game to be closer than it was, even with the motivation factor and Oregon's talent disparity compared to ours. Unfortunately, a lot of fans had the better predictions tonight with the blowouts, and I don't even know if you're Schiano what you would even say in that locker room after the fact. But you're right. Purdue is, in my opinion, like Purdue is to us this year what Northwestern was to Penn State this year, in my opinion.
Ooh, I would have said more than like UCLA, but UCLA is on a hot streak right now. So, but I would agree. I would agree with you, Gabriel. Though. I think your big thing this year is the offense has gotten better, but the defense has gotten worse.
Way
Like the
worse.
defense took a huge step back, and so I think that's why when I say you take baby steps and fix the fundamental problems, it's not necessarily. I know Shiano's in charge; he's the head coach, so he picks the assistants. So something's gotta work out, but that's where a lot of the problems do lie. Because offensively, you're good for a while, but then your defense just kind of folds, and that's kind of part of the problem because that deflates the offense too. Because the offense is like, why are we out here trying? Like, if you're going to give up,
it is. The offense always has a few good drives to start the game, and then they plateau.
Well, and like we've talked about this, but the defense is what you and Adam were hanging your hat on, Gabe, especially you, because you talked about getting the transfer from Penn State, Cam Hiller, and getting these other guys. You were pretty optimistic about the defense, and I was too. It was the offense we were all worried about, and the offense has been the one good thing you could say about the team this year. It's the defense that's letting you down.
Yeah, you look.
I mean, they can't cover nobody.
It's a lot.
They can't defend.
Yeah, I mean, Eric O'Neal came into the year. I forget which site it is. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. But Eric O'Neal, I remember maybe it was ESPN or On3 maybe. They had him as the number 83 player in college football, and he's had 2 sacks all year as our main pass rusher. And Oregon, great offensive line. Washington, great offensive line. Iowa, underrated. But the first 3 weeks we play non-conference schools. One of them is an FCS team, and 2 others are MAC conference teams. You got to put up some numbers. And Bradley Weaver had 2 sacks this year. Both of them were in the same game in Minnesota. We lose Doug Blue Eli out for the year before week 1, and we have no pass rush. And Damon Williams, Dante Moore, Mark Gronowski, like they're all going to have the time of their lives without a pass rush. You give for example, you give Dante Moore. I mean, he already gets all that time anyways because of Isaiah World and company. But you give him 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, he's gonna light you up.
Outside of against Indiana, because Indiana had a great simulated pressure. That simulated pressure from Indiana absolutely wrecked that game plan for Oregon.
One last thing to add on to that is we can't study Indiana against Oregon because guess what great teams do? And it's been the theme all year. They adjust. So you guys weren't going to play the same against us as you did against Indiana. Even emotions and motivation aside, just strategically it was going to be different. And Rutgers has put on the same product all year long. And as the teams have gotten better, we've had to live with the results.
And we said it after that. We said after that game, I said, guess what? I'm not even upset about this loss because guess what? That's 2 really good teams. Indiana's proven themselves to be a really, really good team. Guess what? Someone's got to lose the game. I mean, it's just kind of how it's got to be in those situations. It sucks, but at the same time, you can't get upset about it. So.
Facts.
And what is interesting about it is how the narrative shifts from week to week. Is because you bring that up. Like Indiana wins that game, right? And a lot of people were still, not all of them, but a lot of people were like, okay, Indiana's elite. They're it's time to give them their respect. There were still a few out there who be like, oh, Oregon just had a bad game. It's kind of like Miami last night. Some people don't want to give Louisville the complete credit. They're like, Miami had a bad game. Let's not overreact. I mean, we're in a world where we could see a year where we could see an Indiana and a Texas Tech national championship type game. There's that much parity.
I mean, Texas Tech just lost today, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They lost to ASU.
Yes,
yep.
I know.
Now Texas Tech was without their starting quarterback. So, in all fairness to Texas Tech, they were on the road. So, in all fairness, but you're 100% right. Austin, one is some people said, what if we saw an Indiana-Oregon national title rematch? And I was like, that would be delicious. That would be like
Yes.
just a topper. But you can't forget the whole point is like you just said, every week a narrative will change. And I said it when I first came on with you, I think, Gabriel, and with Adam, was remember at the beginning of this year, where are the top 5 teams that were ranked 1 through 5 in the AP at the beginning of the season? 3 or 4 of them are gone.
Yeah.
They're
And
gone.
Texas might be gone out of the rankings too after tonight. I think they still beat Kentucky, right? In overtime.
Yeah, but
Yes.
not impressively. And I mean, you
Not
look at other teams. Yeah, it's like the point. The top AP 10, if you look at week 1 now, is shifted dramatically. So I'm like, this. Don't worry about the narrative, because people's narratives are so wrong because they don't know what the hell they're talking about usually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always a guy that says they put too much bias on the last game instead of looking at the whole season with power rankings. And I get that it's how they're playing now, but you got to look at the year in the grand scheme of things to understand why Nebraska shouldn't have been 25th, why Illinois, after losing 63-10 to Indiana, they stay ranked, but then after they win 2 games in a row, they somehow drop out of the rankings.
I had the same thing with Notre Dame, 0-2. I get it against your projected top teams, but you were 0-2 and still top ranked in the top 25 ahead of 0-4 teams. No, get the hell out of the rankings. What are you doing there? You haven't beat anyone at that point. So it's mind-boggling to me. That's why Oregon started lower, because they're like, new quarterback, new O-line, a lot of new defense players after the draft. It's like, that's fine. That makes sense, because there's question marks. You expect them to be good, but there's question marks. But these other teams are like catapulted to number 1, 2, whatever. And it's like, what a joke.
Right.
Austin.
One of my things, real quick.
Yeah.
One of my gripes with it is when the national champion is not ranked number 1. That's what gripes me. Like, I don't know if y'all feel this way, but if you're the national champion or you're the champion, I feel like you should be number 1. I get it. It changes year to year. But you're the national champion. You are the team. You are the standard that everyone needs to be at. And the fact that they ranked Texas 1, I was like, really? Ohio State just won the national title, and you have them at number 3. And Texas, who was number 1, I get because of the Arch Manning and all that, but it's like, Ohio State's the champion. They're the best team until proven otherwise, because they are the standard. They just won't.
I agree for this year, because Ohio State was clearly still, like, if you're going to throw Ohio State in the top 5, you might as well have them still being 1 if they're defending champions. But my argument against that would be, look at Michigan in 2024. They were ranked 7th coming into the year, and that was still generous because they lost everybody on that offense. And, they had a really bad year for Michigan standards. And it was a transition year. So that would be my only argument against it. I think it should be year to year, but this year it definitely still should have been Ohio State coming into the year.
I can agree with both of your points on this. I will disagree a little bit. So, like, for instance, I can say personally, like, Oregon, I don't mind them dropping, lost 10 draft picks. Ohio State lost, I believe, it was 14.
Yeah.
Including Will Howard. Now, Dante Moore coming in, though, had started a little bit, sat for a year. Julian Saban is a freshman, so he had never actually started a game. So I can understand why there was that withdrawal. So, like, when you look at, like, a team like Penn State, they had Drew Aller, they had Singleton, and, what's his name?
Yeah, I know you're talking about the 1-2 combo at running back.
Yeah, they had their running backs come back. They had a bunch of guys. I know they lost defensive players. But even Arch Manning, the unfortunate part was, I believe you're right, Austin. It's a Manning thing. Even though he played against 2, once again, I will censor myself, crap teams last year. And that it just is the hype. When now you look at it and go, wow, yours wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Yours was pretty good.
Yeah, people were calling for him to
Listen,
be
and
benched,
I'm
and he was still solid. Go ahead.
of the belief if you're going to give me a preseason poll, I know some people are against preseason poll. I don't mind it, but if we all three came up with a preseason poll, and Ben, you put Oregon at number 6, and Gabe put Oregon at 13, and Oregon put them at 13, I put them at 19. I would like to think that all three of us would give a reasonable explanation why we put Oregon where they're at, and not just saying, oh, because they're Oregon. Like, that's what ticks me off about it. And like, if you're going to put someone somewhere, don't say, oh, because they're Texas and they got Arch Manning, they're the number 1 team. Are they? They ain't showing it. They didn't show it the first game of the year.
2 teams that I will hold my head high and say I was right about them and that I would not have ranked them, and they were somehow ranked 11 and 13 are Florida and Kansas State. I would have never ranked them. Now, Florida, that's maybe a hot take because DJ Lagway had insane expectations coming into the year, and their identity is the running game. But especially with Kansas State, they had no business being 13.
Well, here's the thing. With Kansas State, they had a lot of returning talent, but they got hit with the injury bug. So I kind of give that one a pass because Dylan Edwards got hurt the first game of the year, and it kind of affected him.
That's
and
true.
then Avery Johnson kind of regressed. I'll give him a pass, but you're right though, Gabe. 13 is a little high for a Big 12 team. I would have said maybe 2021. I would have been in that range. I wouldn't say, oh, they're a top 15 team.
I would have said like 28.
I think injury.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. You would have had him out of the top 25.
Oh, see, I'd agree with the Florida take just because it's not proven outside of like desperation mode. But I did think Kansas State would be more consistent, but I would not have had them higher than like 18 or 19 initially.
Yeah,
I think that's more where they fell.
I would have ranked Auburn, honestly, coming into the year. And I know they were slightly outside of it. And Oklahoma came in unranked, or not in the top 25, didn't they?
I believe so.
And that's turned out to be a little ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. I believe so. But at the same time, at the same time, you're looking at Ole Miss, who was number 5, who just barely beat Washington State at home by 4. Washington State just lost to Virginia on the road. Like Washington State went to Ole Miss, lost by 4. The next week, immediately after, went to Virginia tonight, lost by 2. And then they got boat raced by Georgia, giving up like 38, 42 points. So is Ole Miss really, were they really number 5?
No, I agree with that.
At the same time,
It's one of them. I feel like preseason rankings should go away. And what I mean by that is let's see the field on the play. If we were to have rankings right about now, I'd be, okay, cool. We can get a good judgment. Because to be honest with you, week to week it changes. I mean, look at Rutgers this week. And next week, they may blow the roof off the place and beat Purdue 52-10 for all we know. And Oregon not next week or a couple weeks down the road, may barely beat a team 17-13 like they did against Wisconsin. It changes week to week. I mean,
true.
In a preseason poll, basically what you're expected to do. If they rank Oregon in the top 3, they're saying, Oregon, you're one of the favorites to win the national title, and we expect you to play like it.
This isn't a topic that Gabriel was thinking he was going to have tonight.
I don't.
He's sitting there going, why are we talking about this? But the problem with preseason rankings, I've said it for years, is that you will have, say, just for instance, you'll have Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, whatever ranked. Well, that top 3 team, SEC, loses to a unranked team. That unranked team jumps 20 spots. The ranked team drops 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start beating each other. And every time the unranked or lower ranked team wins, they bump them up like 8 spots. But the other team only drops like 3 spots.
But if you lose 2 in a row, forget about it.
Well, yeah, two in a row is different. The point is like that's how they all kind of combine. Like this year, I think now, I'd have to double check. We'll see on Sunday, but I believe it was literally like 10 SEC teams are ranked in the top 25 or something like that. It was something like,
this year.
how is every SEC team ranked?
Yeah, when they play,
That's not a conspiracy. It's on screen for you to look at and go, no, that shouldn't be happening.
this isn't SEC, but Austin, since we have you on the show, and we're talking about upsets and jumping 20 spots, where do you see Louisville being ranked? If it's in the top 25, which I believe they should be after beating number 2 Miami, where do you think they're ranked tomorrow?
See, here's the interesting question. The interesting thing about it is I believe we'll be in the top 25. Could we make a jump near the top 15? I think we could, because it's not every day you beat the number 2 team. But here's the thing. It's like Ben said, though. It's right in front of our face. How much are they going to punish Miami? That's the thing. Because they'll look at that, even though we know on paper, listen, I know this may sound like a homer's thing to say, but we all know Louisville's a good team. Like, would it shock either one of you if Louisville won the ACC? Being honest, would it shock either one of you?
Before yesterday, it would have. But after beating Miami, no, it wouldn't.
And that's the thing, too. But these AP poll voters, they've already shown themselves. They don't consider, like, the Louisvilles, the Cincinnatis, those type teams, good teams. They consider them, like, you're lucky to be there. Whereas Miami, they hold them as the Holy Grail and all that. So when Miami loses to a team like Louisville, they kind of are going to knock them down. Wouldn't surprise me if Miami's out of the top 10 and Louisville just makes it in. I would like to be optimistic and say we'll be – I would like to be optimistic and say we'll come in at 19. We'll jump that. Miami will be at 11. Is where I would like to think. But
we'll see. We'll see. But Austin, as an independent YouTuber like yourself, myself, as well as anyone on any network, anyways, especially as ACC people, need to always remind all these voters. Miami has sucked ass in the ACC and has never won anything. So please let all these journalists and voters know you're voting on a dead horse, essentially, in the ACC. So I would have picked Georgia Tech to win the ACC this year, to be honest.
Really?
That's fair.
I still would have said Miami. And but yeah, it's interesting, the ACC disrespect. There's a lot of not just capable teams, but teams that week in, week out, you can argue, why aren't they ranked? You look at Cincinnati, you look at Georgia Tech, who has sort of flirted with that ranking spot week in, week out. Virginia, Louisville now, obviously, after beating Miami. There's a lot of decent teams out in that ACC conference, but obviously Carson Beck gets all the attention.
Did Florida State, thinking about that, sorry, it's a late night game. Did Florida State lose to Stanford by chance, or did they win?
Way. Did they really?
No, it's live. It's still live right now. Hold on, let me check the score here because I forgot about this game going on. Florida State's at Stanford. Oh my God! Third quarter, Stanford is leading 13-10.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Here's the thing. People want to make fun of this, but Ben, a lot of people think you're just doing it to crap talk, but you're being serious. You remember when Louisville lost to Stanford last year after we beat Clemson, and people were like, "Ha, you lost the tree." Well, guess what? Stanford has been known to upset teams. I mean,
I know all about the Stanford curse. Okay. I have suffered through some of the worst Oregon losses to the Stanford tree. I know all about these things.
Yeah.
Yes. But Jason, you also got to think too, we haven't been in the ACC all that long either. We joined in 2014. We've been there 11 years, man. Like, listen, we're getting in that territory. We're getting in the Miami territory, but you don't see us. See, that's the thing about Miami. And game, this is the thing. Miami fans shout at the top of their lungs, "Oh, we won Oregon, we won Ohio State, we won Alabama." And it's like, do you really?
I would love to see. I would love to see an Oregon. I would love to see an Oregon Miami playoff game. That would just be amazing.
It would either be an all-timer or Oregon would win in the second quarter.
Like, would you want to go to Miami and play that game, or do you want him to come?
I don't care, because the one thing that I love, and I don't discredit Mario. Look, I love Mario Cristobal. At the same time, like, he took over, he did a great job. He just has piss poor in-game management. That's been his big thing, in-game management and play calling. That's been his biggest fault. But him against Dan Lanning, could you imagine him and Dan Lanning scowling at each other from across the field? The betting odds of who will win a boxing match would be amazing.
I think I would have to go with Lanning in that scenario.
I might go with Cristobal in a boxing match. Cristobal's a big dude.
Listen, I know a lot of people give this validity. One thing about Dan Lanning is he's had his fair share of clock malfunctions too. Let's put it all in perspective. But here's the thing, though. Mario Cristobal, you're right, though, Ben. Is got the worst clock management I have ever seen in my life. I even thought Miami was going down to score, and they weren't using any timeouts or anything. And I'm like, why are you not calling timeout? I get you want the ball last. You want to go score. And then Carson Banks goes a pick 2 plays later. I'm like, see, that's what you get. I mean, because that's the thing too. Like, in that situation, I know it to be an armchair quarterback, but like, what do you do? Like, because I get why he's doing that, because he doesn't want to give Louisville the ball back with a chance to either go win it or tie it necessarily.
Well, this is an interesting point with the Schiano talk. Is like, look, what do you want? A coach with high expectation that always fucking lets you down. Oh, there was my one F-bomb of the night. I try to censor myself here and there. Or do you want a coach where you go, we're going to be 6-6, 7-5 every year? Like, do you want high expectations to be let down every year, or at least know where you're going to be every year with a coach? It's an interesting dynamic.
It just sucks to be in neutral, man.
That's fair.
It all depends on what fan base you're in too. Like, for instance, if this is the Rutgers show, if Mario Cristobal was to come coach at Rutgers tomorrow and say, I'll get you 8-9 wins every year, but you're going to lose that one stupid game you shouldn't. A lot of Rutgers fans, I won't say all, they'd be like, okay, as long as that one stupid game isn't
I'll take that for like a 5-year situation. Like, I'm not saying that's I'm not saying I'd be happy with that permanently, but that's still improvement. I love Schiano, but I think Schiano is best as a coordinator at this point in his career. I don't know if that's college or NFL, wherever. You're right, Ben, he would get a lot of offers, probably some as a head coach too, whether that's FBS or FCS. I think at this point in his career, he would thrive as a offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, honestly, because he is very smart on both sides of the football for a contending team, such as an Ohio State or an Oregon or whoever else in that top 5, top 10.
And it's all about expectations too, because like that's the thing too. Like I said, expectations. Like Rutgers and Louisville, we're happy with 8-9 wins. Oregon, if they don't win a national title, they're fussing and mussing over there. Like Ben and Spaz may not, but a lot of the fans.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me dropping F-bombs this time. That wasn't me.
No, I said fussing, not fussing.
No. There we go. There's 2 from Austin.
Yeah, man. Put some quarters in that jar. Hey, watch your potty mouth.
Listen here. But anywho, but Ben and Spaz aren't going to complain if Oregon doesn't win a natty every year. Like, a lot of their fan base will, though, but they won't. They'll be like, cool, we made a national title game. I mean, like the fan base last year, Ben, like when y'all lost to Ohio State, I'm sure y'all were disappointed because that team could have won the whole thing, but they let you down. And that's just what happens at Oregon. Like, if Rutgers or Louisville was in that situation, we'd be like, cool, we were playing Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. We couldn't ask for any more.
And that's a fair point. The difference is that you guys have, like, Jeff Brom, he's a very experienced coach. Graciano is very experienced in the industry. He's been a coach for multiple. I mean, like, how many years has Greg Schiano been Schiano. Sorry, I don't want to mispronounce it. How many years has he actually been a head coach in college football?
In college football, I believe he started in 02, and that was to I want to say 09,
And then there was a pause with
a head
the
coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers too, and then
yeah. So, I mean, I couldn't remember how many years. I wanted to say at least 7 or 8 years of head coaching experience, at least. So,
Jason's
and then
with the exact answer in the comments.
yeah, and Braum has been a head coach in college football, obviously quite a while, and had a lot of success too.
Yeah.
The difference was last year, it sucked a lot. That was the 3rd season of head coaching experience for Lanning, and every year it had only gotten better. So at the same time, you're like, okay, another learning experience, as much as it sucked to watch.
Yeah.
So now you're watching, just waiting that next progression potentially. Now, how do I want to wait 5 more years? No, absolutely not. You want to hear one of my exes yell at me to shut the hell up while I was screaming at the TV during the Auburn loss
Nah.
in
not at
2010? National title. No one wants to hear that because I was screaming at the TV.
Yeah, and
No one wants to hear that.
I mean,
CFB coworker of mine, Jackson Johnson, welcome to the show.
Oh.
Little fair warning.
Wait, did Bama lose?
No, Bama
Oh,
won.
did Bama lose?
Matter of fact, I got to smoke one of these tonight.
Wait. Is that?
Fair warning, 5-10 minutes I'm gonna call it for the night, but I wanted to get Jackson on for another dynamic on the podcast tonight. For the past 30 minutes we've just been talking basically about the ranking systems for college.
The state of the sport.
Yeah, basically, because we already went through however much you can go through with this whooping that Oregon gave Rutgers. But I don't know if you caught any of the game.
I caught a little bit of it. Like Oregon, cheered up Rutgers like a chicken nugget tonight. Like they took out their anger on the Scarlet Knights. It was like watching Jake LaMotta beat the crap out of somebody, like that boxer that his wife likes so much, a Raging Bull.
Oh yeah, and to me, it's I think that there's stuff you definitely can take away with it from Oregon, even though obviously on this Rutgers show we've been focusing more on the negatives because it's the Rutgers angle. But if you're looking from Oregon's perspective, outperforming the line that was set, which they tripled the line. It was 17.5, started at 15.5, which is incredibly disrespectful to Oregon. But I think tripling the line is a pretty good feeling going into the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. I will say though, the road to bowl eligibility just got tougher for Rutgers tonight.
Yes, I think we got to win 2 more games to be eligible. But obviously, after tonight's performance, it's no guarantee we even beat Purdue at this point, and they're considered a bottom 30. Oh no, we lost Austin. Bottom 30, bottom.
Oh, he'll be there.
Team in college football, and then Maryland, who had a great start to the year, they've dwindled a little bit, but I think that's because of facing elite competition. But there's no guarantee we beat them either, man. They're probably going to be favored against us.
I like the chances against Maryland more than I do Purdue for Rutgers right now.
Yeah, Purdue's not bad year. It's just they're not. I mean, last year they were 1-12 or something, and then they come in this year, they improve a lot, but they still have that Northwestern energy to them, who are also having a good year, but bottom of the Big Ten kind of vibe.
Agreed.
Who gets fired first, Schiano or Loxley?
Schiano, I don't see getting fired first. I think it's Loxley between the two. I think Fickle is having that discussion tomorrow, possibly.
Oh, we already talked about that last Sunday. We'll talk about tomorrow night too. Oh yeah, I don't think he'll be a coach tomorrow as of tomorrow night's show.
Oh,
I don't think he'll be a head coach.
This show saying there's a chance Schiano gets booted.
There we go.
His performance.
Well,
I think I also made the point that Purdue next week could be our Penn State Northwestern if it turns out to be a loss for Schiano. And and that's not just because of expectations coming into the year, but it's because of the fact that they are supposedly a bottom 3 team in the Big Ten, and Northwestern considered the same going into that week, and they get by Penn State just barely, and a coach of 12 years who rebuilt the program almost single-handedly through recruiting gets the boot at a state college, Pennsylvania, and regardless of Shiano's legacy in Piscataway, I'm not calling for him to be fired. I've said already I'm calling for the DC Rob Smith to be fired. I'm not calling for Shiano to be fired, but I wouldn't be necessarily 100% shocked if he does.
Here we go. I gotta make sure I got this. Here we go. There we go. We're gonna get everybody some followers tonight. So I'll say before I get on off here. So before I go get ready with Austin for Foul Whistle, I will say tune in Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time for Alabama with the Voice of College Football, and Michigan Mondays with TJ Ronan and Minnie Hunt. I gotta say, it feels like watching Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers in those 1930s dance movies, because it's like magic with TJ and Minnie. And of course, you can check out Rutgers at the Voice of College Football, where Gabriel Pickup and Adam Lamparello and Donovan bring all that magic on Rutgers at the Voice of College Football. And if you missed tonight's Oregon postgame show, check out Oregon Rutgers postgame live on Oregon Voice of College Football from Owen Murray. But of course, also check out Quack It Off with Ben and Spaz, where they had a fun postgame show on the Oregon Ducks smashing the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
That's the more entertaining Oregon Ducks postgame show, by the way. Just saying. I don't have to contort to your network standards anymore.
That's okay. Well, I'm always gonna make sure to promote everybody, but
Sir.
Hey, it's like I always make sure to promote old friends, especially such as yourself, good buddy. Because I'm always making sure to tune in.
Jackson, you better be on the After Dark show tomorrow night.
I'll see what I could do.
There we go.
It won't be weekly, but I will make sure.
Yeah. No one's expected to go on. If you want to go on though, like the old times and just talk crap, we're all there for it, because there's a lot of topics this week. It's a busy week.
Yes.
So yeah, there we go. There's my promotion.
Some F-bombs at USC for wanting to end the Notre Dame rivalry.
Who?
USC.
Who?
Exactly. That's the state of that rivalry.
But of course, also, I've got the Quack It Off channel in the private chat, and I've got Gabe's appearance on Only Talk Sports, where they talked a little bit about the 2025-2026 NBA season preview, or at least they tried to, as they also talked a little bit about Rutgers football and Rutgers basketball. All right there on Only Talk Sports. And give Gabe a follow on his personal Instagram and his personal X account on Pickup Gabe and NBA Rumors and News on Instagram.
Oh.
And I gotta say, he's like our version of Shams. Who needs Shams when we have Gabriel Pickup?
Well, thank you, Jackson. I appreciate that. Obviously, check out Jacksonian on YouTube. And Exploring with Ben and Sam. Obviously, Ben, you've done a lot for Oregon VOCFB in the past, and now you're doing it with Quacking It Off. So definitely check out. Which hilarious name, by the way. I love it.
Oh man, it's like the theme song's funny where it goes quack, quack, quack it off, quack, quack, quack it off.
You can thank Troy V. You can thank Troy V for that. He's the Ohio State fan. He's the one who recommended that name. So I don't want to give him all the credit.
In my head, but I think it's so funny though. But it's like I'm making sure keep an eye Tuesday nights. Like I'm flipping between Voice College football stuff and I'm flipping to Quack It Off with Ben Smith. I'm flipping between all these shows, and you should too, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn right.
Hey, friends, family, cashiers, post about magic that all these guys are making. And there's one other thing to watch for. When you watch Quacking Off with Ben Spaz, when Ben has to say GD it to Spaz, does he say it like a disappointed dad, or does he say it like an angry mom?
Both.
That's a riddle? That's an open-ended question there.
Oh, because like because it was so funny where it was like some of the shows where he's like, God damn it, Spaz.
No, it was like we were trying to go live earlier, and he's like eating again, and I'm like, okay. Then he's like, wait. I'm like, are you ready? He's like, no, wait, I gotta go pee. I'm like, what are we doing here? Okay. Anyways, no, this is a Rutgers show though, and Gabriel, you and Adam do a great job over here. I like watching your shows, and Adam's a great co-host with you guys. So
yes, he is. I hope he's
All
having
these
fun at that
female
party.
waiters, stay safe, stay warm. It's cold out.
Absolutely. I hope that Adam's having fun at that party, drinking responsibly after that tough loss. And as for the signing off of this show, because it's getting a little late over here. Jackson, thanks so much for appearing, and
Always.
check out the Jacksonian. Ben, thank you so much. Like I said, Quacking Off will have their late night show tomorrow at 9:15 p.m. Central Time, 10:15 Eastern. And
There we go. I mean, like I've got Florida. We've all got Florida at the Voice College Football, Florida Gators Live, Ladies College Football, Meaning to Ring, and Quacking Off After Dark version. Stay tuned for more. You're not going to want to miss it.
Indeed. And so you can check out Rutgers VOCFB every Monday at 7 and immediately after the show.
Let's help our guy Gay get to 3,000.
Yes, please. And if you like the show, like and subscribe. Greatly helps. And until Monday at 7 p.m., I will see you guys later. Adios, amigos.